Good day. In this video I'll be showing you how you can use c9.io for your project. So first we need to have a GitHub account. So I've already created one, so I can just go to the home page, then click on sign in, and then the GitHub link. So now I'm logged into c9.io. Next, what I need to do is to create a new workspace. And then here I enter the name of the project, then a short description. Then we need to make sure that the project is public so that everyone can access it. And then in this choose a template, we just need to select PHP, Apache, and MySQL. Once that's done, just click on the create workspace button. Okay, so once you're in this screen, you can now create your GitHub repository. So for your project, I'll be requiring you to use GitHub so that I can check who is working on the project. So the first thing that you need to do when signed into GitHub is to change your name. So go to settings and then change your name here. So use your real first name and last name, and then click on the update profile. Next, you have to create the repository for your project. So in this plus sign, just create on new repository. Then enter your project name and then a short description. Then make sure that the public is selected, and then click on the create repository button. Okay, so now we are ready to clone this project. So just click on copy, then from here you can use git, so you don't really need to install anything when you're using c9.io. so git clone, then Ctrl V. So now it's asking either yes or no, so just type in yes. Okay, so once it says done, then it means that the repository has been cloned. So as you can see from here, we now have an empty repository. So now we can create a new file. So let's say hello.php. Then to open this file, you just have to double click then it will open in this window. So let's type in some PHP code. Okay, and then to save, just Ctrl S. So you can see that all changes has been saved. Now we are ready to commit this file. So first we check for files that hasn't been committed yet by using git status. Okay, so it's not a git repository because we have cloned it earlier, so it's actually inside this project name folder. So we have to cd into the project name folder. Okay, so if we list it, you should be able to see the hello.php file. Okay, so it's there. So we can now use git status. Okay, so the hello.php file is an untracked file, so now we have to add it. So git add, then hello.php. Okay, so if we use the git status command again, you can now see that the hello.php file is ready to be committed. So now we use the git commit command and then use the -m option to add a message. So this message tells what this commit is all about. So we have added hello.php, so we tell here that add hello.php. Okay, so enter. Now the file has been committed. So now we are ready to push into this repository that we created earlier. So to do that, you use the git push command and then -u and then the name of the remote repository and then the branch, the local repository that you want to push. So let's first check what the branch is by using git branch command. So as you can see, it's in the master branch. So git push -u and then the name that you want to give to the remote repository and then the branch from the local repository that you want to push. So enter. So now it's asking again if I want to proceed, so yes. Okay, so now it says that branch master set up to track remote branch master from origin. So if we check this now and refresh, we should be able to see the file that we have just committed. So here it is under the master branch. So currently there's no other branch. If we open this file, you can see that the code that we have inputted from earlier is already there. So next, this account is now considered as the main user, so this should now be the group leader, account of the group leader. So now let's proceed to a member. So we go to another browser and then sign in with the GitHub account. Sign in and then click on the GitHub link. Okay, now we're signed in. So what we need to do now is to click on this create new workspace again. And then enter the project name. So let's just enter the same project name here. Project name, sure, this. And then you know what, let's try to clone from a Git repository. So from here we just click on the project name and then use this one, copy, and then paste it in here. So select the template first and then input the Git repository and then create workspace. Okay, so now we have the same files. Okay, so now let's try to add another file. So this is now the member of the group. So earlier we have the group leader in this browser window. So here we have the group member. So first let's try to create an imaginary function that will return the sum of two numbers. So x plus y, then Control S. Now we're ready to commit this change. So first we have to do git status, and now we can see that the hello.php file has been modified. So to check what the modification is, we use the git diff command and then the name of the file. So here you can see that this lines has been added, so it's indicated with the green color and a plus sign at each line. So this was the code before, so it's in white color. Okay, so now we can add the file and then commit our change. So this commit should say what specifically has been done by this group member. So this group member has added a sum function. Okay, so now click enter. Now we are ready to push this to the repository. So we say git push u origin and then master. Yes. Okay, so now we can see that there's a fatal error. It says here that permission to Ancheta Warn project name.git is denied to Isabel Ancheta. So this happens because the Git account of our member hasn't been set up as a collaborator. So the group leader has to set it up. So we have to go back here and then visit the GitHub repo. So we look for the settings and then click on the collaborators. Okay, so now you have to know the GitHub username of your member. So here we can check for the username by going to, okay, so here it is. That's the username. So we have copied that and paste it in here. Okay, so if a result shows up, just click on it and then click on the add collaborator button. Now Isabel Ancheta is now a collaborator, so we should now be able to push to the repository directly. So go back here and then we try to push again. Okay, so say yes. Okay, so now it's saying the same message as the one from the group leader. So branch master set up to track remote branch master from origin. So if we check in the GitHub repository, we can now see that the latest commit has been done by this user. So add the sum function. If we open this up, we now see that the sum function is in there. So that's how you set up for your project. So now if I visit the commits tab, I can see that 2 members has worked on this project. So that's what I'll be using to grade. So there will be a project grade and individual member grade. Okay, so if you got any errors at this point, the problem might be that the SSH key hasn't been set up. So in the members GitHub profile, we go to settings, then we have to make sure that the SSH key from the c9.io has been added. So we go to the SSH keys. Okay, so we should have this one, Cloud9 IDE. If you do not have this one enabled, it should show that there should be a approve button in here which you can click. Then once you have clicked that, you should now be able to push to the GitHub repository. But if this Cloud9.IDE is not in here and there's no approve button, you can just directly add the SSH key. So we click on the add SSH key, and then in your Cloud9.io, go to the settings page and then click on the SSH keys. So this would now be the SSH key. So all you have to do is copy it and then paste it in here. So paste and then just say Cloud9 IDE and then click on the add key button. But since I already have it, I won't click on this because there's already the Cloud9.IDE in here. So the same is true for the group leader. So if we go here, and then when you push the repository with git push origin master and it didn't say this message, it means that the SSH key hasn't been added yet. So you can do the same, go to settings and then SSH keys, and here you should be able to see something like this, cloud9.ide, and then there will be a approve or reject button. So all you have to do is click on the approve. So here I've already clicked it, so it's saying that it's currently active. That's why I didn't get any errors. So that's it for this video.